Angela had always been a woman of routine. Married to Ethan for 3 years, she felt comfortable in her life, but there was an emptiness she couldn't quite identify. She worked at a marketing firm, where she met Emma, a co-worker who quickly stood out not just for her competence but also for her charisma and beauty. From the first day Emma joined the team, Angela felt an inexplicable attraction. It was new and confusing for her, as she had always considered herself heterosexual and was happy in her marriage. Emma was outgoing and had a way of making everyone feel at ease. Over the months, their interactions became more frequent. They ate lunch together, exchanged messages, and shared laughter during work hours. Emma began flirting with Angela subtly, comments about her beauty, light touches on her arm during conversation, and lingering gazes that made Angela's heart race with every interaction. She tried to ignore these feelings, but the attraction only grew stronger. One night, during a company happy hour, while everyone was distracted with drinks and lively conversations, Emma leaned in and whispered something funny in Angela's ear. The brush of Emma's lips against her skin sent a shiver down Angela's spine. In that moment, she realized she could no longer ignore what she was feeling. Weeks passed, and the tension between them grew. One evening, after a company event, Emma invited Angela to her place to continue the party in a more private setting. The atmosphere was charged with anticipation when they arrived at Emma's apartment. They laughed, drank wine, and shared personal stories. As the conversation turned to deeper topics about love and relationships, Emma slowly moved closer to Angela. The intensity in Emma's eyes made Angela feel as if the world around them had disappeared. Without hesitation, Emma leaned in and kissed Angela softly. The kiss was an explosion of repressed emotions. Angela surrendered to the moment, responding with passion. It was something she had never experienced before, a mix of adrenaline and desire that was overwhelming. After that night, the two began meeting in secret. They exchanged passionate messages during the day and met at night in discreet locations to avoid raising suspicion from Ethan or their colleagues. The thrill of secrecy made each meeting even more exhilarating. Angela knew she was betraying her husband, but the emotional and physical connection with Emma was undeniable. She felt alive with her, every touch was electrifying, and every conversation was profound. Her attraction to Emma wasn't just physical. There was a bond she had never shared with Ethan. Their romantic escapades included candlelit dinners at small restaurants and moonlit walks along the beach. During one of these outings, as they strolled along a deserted shore, Emma held Angela's hand and said, "You know this is real for me, right? I've never felt this way before." Her words deeply moved Angela. Yet even in their happiest moments, a shadow loomed, the fear of being discovered. Angela often thought about Ethan and the life they had built together. She wondered if she was doing the right thing by continuing this secret relationship. As time went on, her inner conflict weighed heavily on her mind. At home, everything seemed normal with Ethan. He was as attentive and loving as he had always been. But when Angela looked into his eyes, she felt guilty for living a lie. One evening, while they were watching a movie on the couch, Ethan turned to her and asked, "Are you happy?" Angela's heart raced. She knew she couldn't be honest without destroying everything they had built together. "Of course," she replied automatically, forcing a smile. The meetings with Emma continued in secret. They explored new facets of their relationship, from intimate moments to deep conversations about their dreams and fears. The emotional bond grew stronger, even as the weight of guilt grew heavier in Angela's heart. She began to realize she was in love with Emma in a way she had never imagined possible. Each time Angela was with Emma, she felt more conflicted about her life with Ethan. The two women shared secrets and laughter as if they had been best friends forever. One day, while Angela was alone at home reflecting on her double life, she received an unexpected message from Emma. "We need to talk." Her heart raced once more. The tone of the message felt too serious to ignore. Angela knew this conversation could change everything between them, or worse, expose their affair to Ethan. When they met that evening at a quiet cafe on the outskirts of the city, the tension in the air was palpable. "I don't want to keep hiding this much longer," Emma said directly, locking eyes with Angela. "I want you in my life openly." The words made Angela hesitate. She wanted that too, but the fear of the consequences held her back. The story continues without a clear resolution. The dilemma of following her heart or maintaining her stable life remains unresolved in Angela's mind. She is torn between two worlds, the secret love she shares with Emma and the comfortable life she has with Ethan. The future is uncertain, the choices are difficult, and the emotions are overwhelming. Meanwhile, the two women continue their parallel lives, a delicate dance between forbidden love and familial obligation. Angela knows she will need to make a decision at some point. Until then, she lives each day as it comes, filled with clandestine love for Emma and a tangled sense of loyalty to Ethan. Angela often found herself reminiscing about the small things that made her relationship with Ethan special. The romantic dinners they used to have on Friday nights or the short trips to quiet places where they could relax away from daily obligations. But now, those memories were overshadowed by the intensity of what she was experiencing with Emma. She remembered the first time they went to a bar together after work. The way other men's gazes followed them as they laughed together seemed irrelevant compared to the deep connection they were forming right there in the middle of that noisy crowd. That particular night at the bar, as the lights pulsed softly to the rhythm of live music performed by a local band, Emma pulled Angela onto the dance floor near the makeshift stage where a few couples were already enjoying themselves under the colorful spotlights. "You're amazing," Emma said as she twirled Angela gracefully before pulling her closer, their faces almost touching as they danced intimately under the curious gazes of the other patrons. Angela had never felt anything so intense before. It was as if everything else had disappeared. Only the two of them existed in that magical moment of stifled laughter and smoldering looks. Yet, even in these moments, when they were happy and carefree, a persistent thought haunted Angela's mind. What would it be like to live this truth openly? The fear of rejection, both from society and from Ethan, was crushing. Their conversations grew increasingly profound. They talked about their past lives, their dreams for the future, and the insecurities both of them had carried for as long as they could remember. Angela cherished these moments but knew they came at a cost. Emma's declaration that evening in the cafe still echoed in her thoughts. "I want you in my life openly." Angela yearned for the same, but the path to that reality seemed fraught with heartbreak and uncertainty. "I just want to be happy," Emma said one night during a vulnerable moment as they watched the stars glimmering in the night sky during one of their long walks along the deserted beach they often visited to escape the pressures of daily life. "So do I," Angela replied sincerely, holding Emma's hand tightly, a simple gesture loaded with meaning in that instant. The two women were creating unforgettable memories together while wrestling with the inner demons that constantly threatened to tear them apart. Their relationship had blossomed in secrecy. Each meeting was filled with fiery passion intertwined with the ever-present anxiety of imminent discovery, especially by Ethan. One day, after weeks of intense emotions building up inside her like a storm ready to erupt, Angela decided to finally open her heart to Emma about her fears for their future together. "I don't know how much longer I can keep living like this," Angela confessed one sunny afternoon at the park where they often met in secret on weekends, safely out of sight. "I understand," Emma responded gently, brushing her fingers tenderly across Angela's face as though trying to comfort someone deeply wounded, though unsure of the right words to ease that growing pain they both carried. "But I don't want to lose you," Emma continued, gazing directly into Angela's deep brown eyes. Eyes full of life but also brimming with insecurities carefully hidden behind the strong facade they had both cultivated over the years due to the hardships they'd faced individually, long before their unexpected meeting at work months ago. "I don't want to lose you either," Angela replied, squeezing Emma's hand lightly as a silent signal of how much this connection meant to both of them in that fragile moment, their nervous laughter mingling with silent tears streaming down their faces as they tried to draw strength from one another in the face of the uncertain future. They knew that at some point, decisions would have to be made. Together or apart, they would need to confront the complex reality of their situation, the tension between true love and the weight of traditional family duties imposed by the conservative society in which they lived. And so, they continued their parallel lives, a delicate dance between forbidden love and the heavy burdens of familial expectations, each step fraught with the risk of serious consequences from the lies that had accumulated over time. Their journey was one of profound emotions, love and pain intertwined, shaping each day they shared. They clung to their stolen moments of happiness, even as the weight of their choices loomed over them, casting long shadows on the uncertain path ahead.